you guys are all familiar with this MaxSpace product laying back here, the fabric interduct system. Well, the same guy that came up with that fabric interduct system 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago, was sitting in a meeting one day and he's looking at a picture similar to this on top of this brochure. We've got brochures here if you guys want them before you walk away. But he's looking at a conduit with 3 interducts in it, and he starts thinking about what purpose do those serve today? Because once a cable is in them, they don't do much for you anymore. They serve a valuable purpose while they're empty, believe it or not, because you need a pathway to get another cable in a conduit system without damage to the existing cables that are already there. MaxSpace does that for you, and HDPE interduct does that for you, okay? But once that cable's in there, they don't serve a big purpose anymore, except take up space in that conduit. You know, it's not a protection factor, not a mechanical protector, because if you get through the PVC outer pipe, which is a much more protector than the HDPE softer stuff is, if you get through that, you're getting through those. So this they don't offer much mechanical protection. So we started working on a method. How can we extract those interducts off of a live operating cable, dropping those cables to the bottom of the conduit like you see in the middle picture, salvaging 90+% of the ID of that conduit, pull a MaxSpace sleeve or whatever the customer wants. Most of the time it's MaxSpace. Pull a MaxSpace sleeve or 2. If it's PVC conduit, we can pull 2 in there. Give you 6 new 1.25" pathways in a conduit that might have been built 30 years ago and you only had 3 to start with. Well, 30 years later, 20 years later, 10 years later, we can triple that capacity by removing those interducts off of those active fiber optic cables without disruption of service to any of those cables that are in there. The job we did we have any disruption of service over there? All right, we've been doing this for 5, going on 6 years now. We've extracted over 3 million feet of interduct off of live operating cable without any downtime on the cable. So we do this without any downtime at all. That cable stays in service during the entire process. Hey, Carl, if you would, pull that black interduct out down there and that yellow one. I just kind of stubbed these dummies in here just to give you an idea that we're typically working in a full conduit. Sometimes there's 1, sometimes there's 2, sometimes we're in PVC, sometimes we're in clay tile. We've even done wood, we've done transite, we've done Orangeburg, we've done a little bit of everything. But anyhow, we have a guy in the manhole on the opposite end during this entire process. First thing we do is we grab a cable that we're supposed to take interduct off of, and we verify that that cable runs from this manhole to that manhole, okay? And typically manhole lengths of 1,000 feet or less, that's not a problem to do. We've done it much longer distances than that. Okay, so we verify we're in the right hole, the cable runs from this hole to that hole. All right, once we do all that, we're gonna pull this cable, we're gonna find some slack, whether we gotta pull it from that hole, this hole, or take it out of a coil or off the wall. We're gonna bring it off the wall, and we're gonna bring it over here and lay it inside this split steel tube. If everybody kind of wants to come around here, this is what really makes this machine work. Without this, it will not work. This split steel tube protects that cable during this entire process. You can see it's smooth. There's no orifice or anything on that split steel tube, top or bottom. We lay that fiber inside that split steel tube, and then we put that top half back on, and we tighten it down. Now that split steel tube protects that fiber from 4 knives that's going to cut that interduct just like a banana right off that cable. It's going to peel it off that cable. There's 4 knives on each end, one on each end of these posts, okay? And there's also, the other thing it does, our split steel tube always extends past the drive wheels. These drive wheels have teeth on them. They're going to pull on that interduct. If they were to slip, they'll eat through that interduct, and they can eventually get the cable sheath. They can't get the cable sheath because that split steel tube always extends past the drive wheels. So that's the beauty of this machine. Without that split steel tube, you could not safely do this. And we have a patent on that method. It's not just the patents actually covers a lot more than just that, but the split steel tube is a big part of that patent. We're going to pull this interduct. Sometimes it sticks out of the conduit, sometimes it's out here, sometimes it's here, sometimes it's here, sometimes it's there. If it's back that far, I can't get it. All right, but if it's in a foot or 2, we can probably still get it to this machine. But anyhow, we're going to pull it by whatever means necessary and get it up over top of that split steel tube. Okay, the fiber's inside, the interduct's on the outside, and then we're going to tighten up these drive wheels against that interduct. It's going to pull on that interduct to pull it out of that conduit. once we get that all done, keep in mind there's a guy in that other hole in it during this entire process watching your cable. Our goal is not production so much as it is protection of this cable. All right, that guy's gonna actually put his hand on that cable on that other end down there, and he's gonna hold that cable during the entire process. And occasionally while that interduct's coming out, he's gonna go like this, and this operator will actually see it move on this end. Sometimes the operator might even do this just to make it sure it stays free through here. Because if we get a buildup of anything, start pulling on the cable, we have to stop and figure that out. But anyhow, we're ready. Once we get that all done, we're ready to start pulling on that cable to get it out of that conduit. Carl, kind of guide that in there for me if you would. And we start pulling that interduct out of there. And this is corrugated, this is thin stuff, okay? This machine's an electric machine. It's not a powerful machine. It's not one we would normally use during the extraction process. We use hydraulically driven machines that can pull up to 2,000 pounds. We do corrugated, we do smooth, we do ribbed in, ribbed out, or both. There's not an HDPE interduct out there that we can't take out. We do 1 inch, we do 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, and we've even done a 2 inch. I think that was in Baltimore here, if I'm not mistaken. But the reason I use corrugated is because of this machine. But we do corrugated. The longest run we've ever done was 2,700 feet for AT&T in San Diego, California. It had this interduct in it, believe it or not. It stretched 100 feet before it moved on the other end.
You're not supposed to say that.
Huh?
Bad word.
What, AT&T?
Yeah.
That's all right. But anyhow, once that interduct comes out, the MaxSpace has been attached to that last interduct coming out, or next to last, whatever. One way or the other, we're going to get that MaxSpace sleeve in there over top. You could hire me today. I could be here tomorrow, and say you got 2,000 feet. You got to get a cable from point A to point B. We'll have that done at the end of the day, and you're ready to place your cable. All right, permitting. We're not doing any excavating, so permitting's a lot easier. Doesn't take as long to get. And then the biggest beauty to me, if I was sitting in your shoes, is when I go out there on York Street or wherever you're at around here, and look at your manhole system at the end of the day, and well, them guys are all gone. There ain't no dirt, there's no pile of dirt, there's no restoration has to be done, and you're ready to pull your cable. We can average 2,000 feet a day. Our crews working in Washington, D.C. for the last month, they're only doing about 2,000 feet a week per crew. That's a little bit kind of different circumstances in D.C., shorter lengths on the manholes, a lot of traffic control problems, a lot of issues there. But that crew's averaging about 2,000 feet a week. We have done as much as 5,000 feet in a given day. But like I say, it's not a production race. It's about keeping this cable safe during the entire process.